We are live. I'd like to welcome everyone to another episode of Heart to Heart with Bree. Tonight's topic is world travel, and my guest is Johnesse of Dreamz Destination Travel. Johnesse, please introduce yourself to the viewers.
Hello, everyone. I'm Johnesse Bennett. I'm a travel consultant. I am also a nurse, but today we're talking about travel. And travel is my passion. It's my drive. I eat, sleep, dream travel.
Well, I'm so excited to have you here. We had some technical problems a little bit earlier, so please bear with me for 1 second so I can share this on Janice's Facebook so that her viewers are able to see. And this is Dreamz. I'm really excited to have you on so we can. I've never done this topic before, so I'm very excited about it. I've just shared them on your Facebook, both of your Facebook pages.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll ask you, why did you start your travel business?
So, Bree, I have been I've been planning group trips for probably the maybe 18 years, 17, 18
Oh,
years.
wow.
Yes, and finally decided newly just this year to be a travel consultant and just to make some money while I'm having fun. So that's pretty much how I
I
got
tell you
started.
what, I have a cousin, Diane Stewart. She does the same thing that you do, and both of you. I've been having my little vacations vicariously through you guys. I'm always enjoying the pictures that you post because I've not traveled in a while. So it's been really nice. I mean, you guys go to all these exotic
Oh,
locations,
geez.
and it's like I reached out and I was like, when you said yes, I was so happy. I'd like to welcome my friend Mikey Go. Thank you so much for tuning in. So I have to ask you, Johnny's, what does traveling around the world mean to you?
Traveling around the world. For me, it means being around other people with different cultures, different custom, seeing the way they live, and just pretty much broadening my horizon, getting used to trying the different activities, the different foods. I'm a foodie, so
Yes.
I look forward to that. So, but it's just meeting. It's you meet people that you think are so different from you, and then when you have a heart to heart with them, you share so much in common, but you're still so very different. So
Yes.
that's one of my yes.
I love that answer. When I was 14, I remember
Uh-huh.
watching an episode of Love Boat for the first time. I believe I was 14. And I
Hmm.
remember like I always wanted to go on a cruise. And I remember watching it. They would go to all these different locations. And I had that dream in my heart ever since then that I wanted to travel to some of these places. It took me about 40 years to go on my first cruise, but I have not looked back since. When did you fall in love with traveling?
Oh, so probably 40 years ago. No, not quite 40, but maybe, well, if you know me, you know I've been 39 forever. So, so, it's been like 30 something years. A couple of friends and myself, Evelyn, I was hoping she'd tune in. And June, we went to Curacao, and it was so good. It was just so different. You see people who speak different languages because they speak, just the average person there speak probably three, four languages. Um,
Yes.
Seeing the floating market, they had like a drawbridge, and this was like my first time seeing a drawbridge, and the different buildings, they were colorful. It was just this rich, different thing, and I was like, I just want to see the Caribbean, so because that was my initial bucket list was the Caribbean, and I've seen a
Yes.
whole lot of the Caribbean. But just to but that was the first time I fell in love with travel. It was just this mystical something different than what I was used to.
Yes, yes. I'd like to welcome my friend Andrew Green and my friend Joyce Lammy. Thank you so much for
Hello,
joining.
hello.
So that was your first big trip.
No,
The
I wouldn't say it was my first big trip, but it was a trip that was so different. It was
okay.
that the one that made me want to go see what else is there to see.
Where is your favorite destination?
Oh, of course, my favorite destination is Jamaica, because I am Jamaican. And, and of course, when I go to Jamaica, I know my people. I mean, Jamaica, just going and not doing your family thing, just doing the touristy thing. There is so much to see. It's just so much to experience, doing the things that the tourists usually do versus when you go to
It's
family.
true.
So of course that's just my favorite. I mean, I do have a close, but that's ultimately my favorite one.
Have you been to
Jamaica.
Mystic Mountain?
I've done. Oh, I love to zip line. I am that person.
Oh, I
I
didn't
will.
do the zip line, but I was surprised that, I actually went on a cruise, and
Mhm.
that's how I ended up finding out about Mystic Mountain. I'd never heard of it before. I don't like heights, but I am glad that I did it. It was
Yeah,
a
going up in
beautiful
that
experience.
thing is
Yes,
usually when you go zip lining, you're actually climbing. But this
yes.
one, they take you up in those. What do you call those? They start with a G. I don't remember the
Okay, I
name,
just call it the
but
lift chair.
but
That's
the
what I
lift.
call it.
Yeah,
But
so the
you
lift
go
and.
up, you're up there with the trees, you hear the birds singing,
Mhm.
it's
It is beautiful. Have you tried? Did you try the bobsled?
no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I actually
What did
took
you
pictures
do?
of it, but I didn't try the bobsled. And I will say the view is magnificent. The restaurant
Hmm.
at the top, and then you look and
Yes,
you can see the ship. And oh my gosh, I got some beautiful pictures there.
beautiful. Yes, yes.
Good. So Jamaica, well, I know. I would. My next question was, why is it your favorite? I know that you're from
Well, we
Jamaica,
know,
but
yes, but you know,
please
no, but
explain
there's
to the
so much.
viewers. Joyce is saying, my friend Joyce is saying, traveling is very therapeutic for me, and
Uh,
that's how I look at travel too. What's your opinion on that, Johnny's?
Joyce, I totally agree with you, and especially when I'm planning a trip and that adrenaline and it's like I live, breathe, eat, dream, sleep, travel because I'm thinking, and it's for me it does something, like my day to day is it can be stressful, and
Yes,
just yes, just knowing that I have a travel coming up, it's just the planning alone. Plus, when I get there, is yeah, that is it's my
it's a great
everything.
feeling.
Yes,
It's
it
a
sure
great
is.
feeling.
Yes.
How do you feel about experiencing different cultures?
When I'm going somewhere, I like to do my little research what their culture is. But I always say, um, and like I said, I do look forward to it. But one of the things I always say, you have to respect somebody else's culture. Um,
Yes,
I've been on trips with other people where there's stuff and they'll smirk at it, they'll laugh or something. That's something you just absolutely don't do. It's
I
like somebody
agree.
coming to your house and you're showing them something and they're like, smirking or whatever. But I have always been a history buff, so
Yes.
I look I do my research when I'm going away. I make sure I look at what their culture, their customs are, so I'm not breaking any of the rules. You don't want to end up in jail or prison for two,
Yes.
3 years because you didn't respect somebody's culture and their customs. So it's
I
like
totally
it's
agree.
very important.
I totally agree. I'd like to welcome Irene Roper. Thank you so much for tuning in, Irene. Yes. So, I think back to on my first cruise, we went to the Bahamas,
Hmm.
and I will never forget. And I was offended, like one of the taxi drivers, he wanted us to take a cab ride back to the ship, but we wanted to
Mm-hmm.
walk because it was close. And then we wanted to experience the town. And he made the comment, when I go to Jamaica, I spend money. And it was like, dude, we just spent money at restaurants, we bought souvenirs, we just want to
Mm-hmm.
walk back. Do you find that sometimes that people can be aggressive because you're a tourist? I mean, I get it, everyone's trying to make money. I mean, how do you handle situations like that?
And I'll tell you though, the for me the it's the Caribbean. It's mostly the Caribbean that happens in.
Yes.
However, I've been out, I've been to Europe or wherever, and even recently Asia, and it does happen. And it's just well, for me personally, I kind of just do a little smile, just don't stop, don't look at
Yes,
anything, because once you stop, they get you.
it's
Once
true.
you stop,
It's true.
if
It's
if
true.
if you go to get something, get what you're getting, and but because you're gonna stop at one person, and that person is gonna say, call their friend, and or the friend is gonna call you and say, come over here, come see something. But
Yes,
I kind of understand, because
I get it.
it's that's how they live. Tourism
Yes.
is their resource and income. So I kind of get it, but my thing is either avoid it or just hold my head straight and keep walking and smile a little
And
bit.
Andrew is asking you, which custom among your many travels did you find the most interesting?
Oh, Andrew, recently I went to Bali, and I tell you, I'm in love. I'm in love with Bali, but it's a Hindu country. Even Indonesia is the country. Bali is the island in Indonesia, and so Indonesia is Muslim, but Bali is Hindu. So it was my first time really being in a Hindu country and seeing their custom. And of course, like I said, my first thought was I have to respect their custom. Um, it was just interesting to see, like they have the different the gods, and they put little woven baskets, like you're walking and you're literally trying to walk to avoid them walking, because the little baskets were everywhere with food and flowers. And
Yes.
it kind of gave me the little heebie jeebies, but
Yes.
it was like, I have to respect this, I have to respect it.
Yes.
And so it was quite interesting. And just the politeness and the gratitude that these people showed. It was very, very, very interesting. That Hindu, just like I said, this is the closest I've been to, like people who are Hindu. It was amazing though. It was nothing. There was nothing bad about it.
Yes.
It was just different, and to see how committed they were to their
Their
religion.
belief. Yes.
Mm-hmm,
Yes.
mm-hmm.
Bali, that is like my number one dream destination. I've always wanted to go there, and that's definitely on my bucket list.
Okay, whenever you're ready, you know what to do.
I'm serious. I definitely want to go to Bali. I have a fear of flying, and it's just like with going on a cruise. I don't swim. So that was my hesitation for a long time. But after going on that first cruise, I was
Then
fine.
you're
And
hooked.
I and
Yeah.
I and I,
Mhm.
I have to, you have to fly sometimes, but it's not my favorite thing to do. And I've been
Mhm.
thinking about the long flight, but I'm like, you know what? We have one life to live. And it's like each country I've been to, it's like you get to see God's world out there. It
Yes.
really puts
Mhm.
everything in perspective. Like,
Mhm.
I love sitting on the balcony when I go on a cruise to see
Mhm.
when it's arriving in port, when
Mhm.
we leave in port, just to see. It's such a beautiful thing to see. So yeah, I enjoyed your pictures of Bali, like
It
all of
was.
your trips. Trust me, I've seen your pictures. Absolutely beautiful
Yeah,
pictures.
Bali remind me a lot of Jamaica. It's just that it's so far. It's like a total of 24, 25 hours of flight one way. And so
Wow.
it's a lot. But I would in a heartbeat I would go back.
Joyce is saying, let's go, Bree. You know what, Joyce? We have to talk. We definitely have to talk. We have to
Joyce,
talk.
there is a lot to see in Bali. It is. I mean, I'll tell you. It's expensive to get there, but once you get there, it's not so expensive.
Good. And
It,
it's
it's
worth it,
it,
right? Would you
it's
say it's
worth
worth
it.
it?
And I'll tell you a story, Bree. So I got, I went to the market because things are not expensive compared to, other countries. It's not
Yes.
expensive in Bali. So I go to the little market and I'm doing my little shopping, and I, walk into the store, and the guy, every time I go somewhere, they say, "Where are you from?" I said, "Jamaica." He's like, "You're from Jamaica?" He's like, "Bob Marley country?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, and he's like having this whole conversation with half of the conversation. I totally missed it because he's speaking English, but the accent is so strong. But
Right,
he was
right.
just so intrigued with Jamaica, So it was just it was one of my favorite parts, having that conversation with
Oh, I bet that was fun. Joyce is saying also, what is it, Maldives? Is that, I don't know
Maldives.
if I'm
Yeah,
pronouncing it
Maldives.
correctly. Have you
Joyce,
been there?
I haven't been, but it's definitely on my bucket list. Um, I actually was looking at Maldives because you can do that one with there's like a package where you do it with Dubai, and
Okay.
so you know I was looking at that, and I think you can incorporate Bali into it, but but Maldives, yeah, it's way up there on my bucket list because I love the water. I can barely swim.
But
I
yeah,
can
you
barely
sound
swim,
like me.
and the no-see-ums love me. Sandflies, if they're there, they're gonna bite me, and they're gonna itch for 3 months. But I absolutely am going. It's way up there on my bucket list.
Well, that sounds exciting. Now I have to do some research on that place.
No,
Um,
it's the one where you'll see a lot of like little, like cottage, what do you call them, like kind of little huts or something, and they're in the water, like you can sleep above the water. So it's it's
that
interesting.
sounds
Hmm.
really cool. Now Andrew's is asking a question, which I actually have that question for a little later in the podcast, Andrew. But it's, what advice would you give to someone that's planning to go on one of these exotic vacations? So Andrew, just bear with us for a few minutes because I will get to that question. I'm about to ask Joyce about the different cuisines. Now, I am the type of person, I like to stick with what I know. I'm not very adventurous when it comes to food. So, you know, do you enjoy the different cuisines, and are you open to trying different things?
I'm not open to trying different meats, but if it's
I
vegetable or
agreed to what
fruits,
that
I'm
was.
all about that life, but not the meats. So Brie, let me tell you, I eat chicken. I love chicken. I eat chicken just about every week. But I went to Bali, and they presented the chicken with the head and the
Mm.
feet, and and listen, they even had flowers on the breast, like two orchids on the breast. It was so well presented. And I do eat chicken feet. It's not my favorite thing, but I'm
Yes.
used to, it's part of my culture. I grew up eating chicken feet. But Brie, just the head on the chicken, I could not
That
eat it.
would freak
I
me
could,
out.
no, 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 no. I was not eating that chicken. I had the
I
picture of the
don't
chicken,
blame you.
no, not the head. It
I don't blame you one bit. I'd like to
No.
welcome Maxine. Thank you so much for tuning in, Maxine. Now
Hi, Opal. Hi.
that would definitely freak me out. So
Yes.
what is the most exotic thing that you have tried as far as cuisine?
Oh, I don't. Bree. I'm not gonna. No, there's. I can't think of anything except the way that the stuff is prepared, because
Okay.
I'm like, I've never. I will not. I will not try. It won't pass.
Right. No,
If it's
I totally get it.
mm-mm. There's
Joyce
no
is saying,
frogs, no snakes, no. I'm not even as much as gonna
I
taste
can't do
it.
that. I couldn't
I
do that.
Oh, let me tell you. This is what I tried though. I'll tell you. I had to try it. So in Bali, they have some there's this coffee that the animal swallows. What is that animal called again? So they go through the field, and they take out the when the coffee falls, or I don't know if they climb the tree, they pick out the best coffee. So they eat it, right? And once they digest it and it comes out the other end, they process that coffee, right?
Oh
And
gosh.
it's one of the most expensive coffee in the world, and it's supposed to be the best coffee in the
I'm
world.
sorry to
But
laugh. Oh my
it's
gosh.
some little animals, kind of like mongoose or something like that. I cannot. If somebody on the group know, somebody on the live knows the animal is, you can post it. And so we went to the place that we went to this, that we walked through the property, walked through the farm. They showed us the animal in a cage and all of that. And I was like, I am not coming this far. I am not flying for
Without
25
trying it.
hours and not taste this coffee. So I did. I tasted it. I took one mouthful of that
How
coffee
did it
because
taste?
it was really robust and
Okay.
honest, and they gave us like a little sample of, not that coffee because that one is expensive, but they gave us a
Yes.
sample of their coffee. And the girls who were on the trip, most of them, they regretted not buying more. There was one that had
So would
avocado
would
in
would
it.
you rate it up there with like Blue Mountain coffee?
I think it was better than Blue Mountain.
Oh my
Like, and I'm a
goodness.
coffee drinker. I drink coffee every day. Like, but when I tell you the coffee was good, but would I drink it again? I don't think so. Just the thought I had coming
Just
through the
right,
digestive
right. I don't
system.
think I'd have been able
No,
to.
no. But
Joyce
you,
is
if you go to Bali, you should take a mouthful. Don't let
well,
me be the
well,
only one who tried.
well, Joyce is saying she's willing to try anything for the first time. I wish I was a little more open-minded, but like when I first moved to Jamaica, it took me a long time to try like curry goat. It took me a long time to try a lot of things. It just because I wasn't accustomed to them. And it's like, I don't know. I'm just not that open-minded. But when I do make it there, I don't know about that coffee, but we'll see. Maxine is asking, how about drinking soup without meat broth?
How about drinking soup without meat broth?
So that would be more like
Like
a vegetable
like a
soup. Did you find like a lot of that kind of like some of the on some of your travels? Because I know it's someone told me like in is it Vietnam or Thailand, they do a lot of things with vegetables, different
I
dishes.
mean, like I said, vegetable is fine. If it's anything with vegetable, anything with fruits in it, I'm always up to trying the new fruits or vegetables. So having the soup without meat or meat broth, I'm
That
fine
wouldn't
with
bother
it.
you.
I mean, I've been vegetarian. I've been like a couple of times, and then I drop off the ship along the way. But Bree, like yourself, I grew up Seventh Day Adventist, and the
Yes,
focus is not on a lot of meat, so and
right,
and the healthy living. So I have so I'm kind of under that. So like I won't try alligator or snake or
right,
frogs
right.
or something like
Definitely
that.
not.
And but and that's one of the reasons Bali I like it, because it's an island. There's a lot of fruits and vegetable there. And Joyce
Yes.
says, I'm trying that coffee when I get there. Yes, Joyce, you should try it. It's
Now,
honest, it's
in
good.
Bali, did you find like a lot of the fruit that we have in Jamaica, like jackfruit and mangoes and stuff like that?
They have jackfruit, they have mangoes, they have even like they had something that looks like sweet sop, but it wasn't sweet sop. But
Okay.
they have and of course the bananas and stuff like that, and oranges
Okay.
and all But some of the tropical fruits, they had those too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maxine is saying Gator is delicious. I'll take your word for it,
Oh, yes, I
Maxine.
will take your
I'll
word for
take
that,
your
Max.
word
But
for
I
it.
don't think I'm gonna ever try it.
No, no, and not just the Seventh Day Adventist in me, but no, I just wouldn't be
No,
able
no,
to do it.
breed. I can give up meat easily, but
Yes.
no, no, I'm not trying. Nothing new. No new meats. No.
No, I
I
couldn't do it.
mm-mm.
I remember, let me see, it was a few years back when I went to England. I remember reading an article about, um, they say it's an exotic meat, gorilla meat. And there
Oh
was a there
no.
was a there was a store that a little they had shut it down because they were selling gorilla meat, and I was like,
Mm.
that's why I'm very cautious to what I eat. I want to know what it is. you know?
It's like traveling to one of the reasons I like Dubai. I like Dubai with food. I don't eat pork, of course, and they
Right.
don't prepare anything with pork.
Good.
But and somehow I think somebody might have sneaked me some camel meat, but I'm not sure.
No,
Camel
just
meat.
I I just oh my goodness, I would oh my goodness. Uh, Joyce Joyce is saying that she's had soup without meat broth and it was good. And that Joyce is saying she had frog legs for dinner yesterday. Oh, Joyce, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Joyce,
I
Joyce,
couldn't do it.
Joyce. Joyce, you can join my trips anytime you want anyway, but you'll be the only one that's having those frog legs.
I would not be able to do it. But you said you've been doing this travel thing for a little while. I've noticed the trend now that group travel has become quite popular. Why do you think this is the case?
I think it's first it's also it's more economical to travel in groups, and some with the kind of environment that we live in, it's a little safer to go group than solo, right? And also, you get to meet people, you get to build friendships. And I'll tell you, I remember the first trip I planned, right? It was here, it was local, it was in the US. That was my first one. And I rented a house. It was probably about 15 of us. And we got there, and everybody was like, I'm sleeping with you. I'm sleeping with you. Then people start coming in, and I noticed suitcases were like in the central area. Then all of a sudden, suitcases were moving, and people were going into different rooms. And I'm like, I'm sleeping with Sophia. Sophia and I are going. Maxine and I are doing this. And people were just and these are friendships that were built from all that time till now, because these are still some of the people that I travel with. So it's a good way to make new friends and just build.
Doris Aiken is saying the animal is called Indonesian palm. Is it civet? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And then she said the coffee is called Kopi Luwak.
Yeah,
Please forgive me for the
Doris was
pronunciation.
there. She was on the Bali trip. Shout out to
Okay.
Lisa. Doris, did you try the coffee? I think she did. I think Doris tried it. And I know she
Wow.
loved the avocado. She loved the avocado one. So when we all go to Bali, we're gonna go back to the coffee farm.
I'll watch everyone drink it, but I don't think
and
I would
and
be
and
able
they
to do
had
it.
Bree, they had breadfruit chips.
Oh wow.
Oh my goodness, that thing was like I couldn't get enough of it, because I'm not used to having breadfruit as a chip, and
Right,
I do,
right.
I see it every once, in the store sometimes, more cassava or banana, but the bread, it was so good. It was so good.
I love breadfruit, so that would definitely be interesting. My friend Carol Jackson, thank you for tuning in, Carol. She's saying I will pass on that coffee. I think that the majority of us would do
Carol,
that.
yeah, here, Doris said she had it. Doris said, and you can
She said,
attest to
"Yes,
it.
I
It was
did
good.
drink the coffee." Doris, did you like it? I mean, would is it something that you would have again? So I'm waiting on Doris to respond, and then I'll move on to my next question, which is, what would you like to say to those who are hesitant to travel internationally?
I'm gonna say, just do it. Just do it. After that first trip, you will be hooked and you will be ready to go. So, but for the that just you just once you take that step, because I'll tell you, I have a friend that they got married in maybe like 50s or something. Oh, and there's another person here who can attest that never been that had probably the kind of the same experience. Never been on a plane. Her husband had never been on a plane, but us, we're Jamaicans. We've been, at least to come here, we go back ever so often. And let me tell you,
Yes.
it's like every 3 4 months, he is going somewhere now. He's like saying, I want to go. Because and before, you couldn't get, before her, you wouldn't have gotten him on a plane.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Doris said avocado
Wow.
was her favorite.
I'll take your word for it, Doris, but it's good. I think it's good to try different things, but I don't that's definitely something I wouldn't want to have. So, you know, I think traveling is a good thing. One of the things that shocked me when I first moved to this country was finding out that there were people who had never really left their town, had never
Mm-hmm.
been outside of the United States, had never left their state, and it's like it's so easy to take travel for granted if it's something that you have done. I'm thankful. I've lived in three different countries. I've lived in the US, England, and Jamaica. And for
Mm-hmm.
each country, I've enjoyed the experience, and I think it's been a really good thing. I think back to like if I'd only lived in England and never experienced Jamaica, or if I'd never experienced living in the United States. So I think it's a beautiful thing. I think if you're afraid to leave the country, do a trip domestically, travel in the United States, go somewhere
Mm-hmm.
different, and then broaden your horizons, as Johnny said earlier. But I think it's a beautiful thing to experience different countries and cultures.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, how has travel enriched your life?
Um, for me, it's the I'm more comfortable with myself. I'm a lot more confident. Um, it's easier now for me to meet people. I mean, I do have a large circle, but now it's like that's been there for a long time. So now I'm meeting new people. It has made me more adaptable. Like, you go somewhere, you don't have the amenities or some of the conveniences that you have here. So it have made me more adaptable and just to adjust to the different ways of life, and the different.
When you were growing up in Jamaica, did you ever imagine that you would travel to all these places?
Bree, I say, maybe one day I'll write a book that says, "Who would have thought? Who would have thought this little black girl from Hopeton, St. James, Jamaica, would be here doing this?" And then every once in a while, I have these moments that I call my haha moments. You would see a plane flying over, and you're like, "Huh, when will I ever?" And then those were the days where we had the waving gallery,
Yeah.
and
Oh
you
my
would.
gosh. Do you remember what a big deal it was to go to the airport and stand
It
in
was
that
such a
waving
big
guy and
deal.
just
It was
that
such a
was a
big
big
deal.
deal.
And,
That was a
and
big
so
deal.
so I have these haha moments because I'm like, who would have thought? Who would have thought? But it humbles me, and it makes me so grateful. And I feel so blessed because it has opened up so much for me, just being able to travel and the people that I meet, because I'm one of those that I've never met a stranger. I go somewhere and I come back with a new contact in my phone.
Yes.
So, yes.
I tell
Oh.
you, you saying that, I think back to my grandparents. They were in their 70s the first time that they traveled to the United States and went to
Wow.
England. And that
Hmm.
was such a big deal for them because that was something that they never thought they would experience. I
Right,
think
right.
it's a beautiful thing when you can step outside of, your home country to experience something else. And it is a beautiful thing to think of you know, like I said, you mentioning that waving gallery. I used to think every time we would go to meet someone at the airport or was sending someone off, you're dreaming about one day it'll be you taking that trip. And I remember when I moved to the States, my brother and I, and it was Mrs. Gorell and her sons, and they took us to the airport and they stood in the waving gallery waving to us. And it was like having that experience that someone was there to wave to me, seeing me
I
off.
I miss that. I
That was
miss that though. I
that
miss
waving
it.
gallery was really cool.
Hmm.
Wow. What is your favorite thing about preparing for a trip? I want to see if it's the same thing as mine. 'Cause
So
I
let
can
me tell
tell
you.
you
So
Go ahead, go ahead.
First and foremost, it's the shopping that does it for me. So whenever, because every and of course there's different customs. Like I'm planning a trip to Dubai, and of course it's a whole different vibe. You have to dress a whole different way, and I'm hoping that
Yes.
I'm not that all of this is not what I do in Dubai. Um, but then the other thing that gets me excited, if I know you see me and on my page, and I am I'm like the color coordinated person. So it's
Yes.
planning the itinerary, what activities we're gonna do, what colors we're gonna wear, so that's part of the excitement. And I think everybody kind of look forward to what is Janice gonna do?
I always look for.
What
You
is
know
she
what? I
planning?
look forward to
What
your
is she planning
hairdos.
this year?
I always look forward to your hairdos because you
Oh,
always have
yeah,
your.
I need those
I look
too.
forward to your
Yeah.
hairdos and your outfits because you're always so glamorous. Joyce
Thank
is saying
you.
the shopping does it for me, and I am
Yes,
right
Joy.
there
It's
with
my
you,
it's my
Joyce.
ultimate favorite part though. The shopping
Yes,
does it.
it isn't that it's fun. Like I try to I look forward to the shopping. I look forward to
Mm-hmm.
actually packing.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the most exciting part because I know, okay, it's time to go on the trip. But it's even the planning of the trip, picking out the destination. I find all of that to be so much fun. I mean, what is it like for you when you're planning your trips? Do you enjoy that process too?
Yeah, see that's again. That's the. Of course, I do. And like I say, it's doing the research. Like, what are we gonna do? What is there to be? What is there to do? The activities. What entertainment is there? Is there a zip line? Is there horseback riding? Is there something? What am I gonna do with this hair of mine? That kind of thing. So like I'm going to Jamaica in like what 3 weeks. I'm like packed already. and
Maxine,
and and the thing is, Bree, I will unpack and repack my suitcases another 2 or 3 times before I leave.
oh wow. Wow. Well, Maxine is saying yes, she's big on the color
Oh
coordination.
yes.
There's a picture that you have. I think it was when you went to Bali and it was you and several ladies. You all had on these beautiful long dresses that were very flowy. You know which picture I'm
Oh yeah,
talking about?
that's
Where your
that's that's
backs were
Bali. That
turned?
was Bali. Yeah, we did it's the swings with the swings. But we did that in Dubai too. The fly dress in Dubai. If you ever go to Bali, you got to do the swings. You go to Dubai, you got to do the fly dress.
They were very beautiful and the colors were very vibrant. I really did
Yes,
enjoy
yes.
those pictures.
And the greenery,
Yeah.
it was so nice and green and lush, and yeah.
Now, for people who think I can't afford to go on this trip, I know, like, for instance, going on cruises, you can pay over time. Is it like this when you do the group travel? Because I want people to see that this is something you could actually, it's actually doable.
So you can there's usually you make a your payment. Trips are usually planned like way in advance. You make your
Yes.
down payment and you can make monthly payments. And now like the airlines, including like Emirates for example, they have monthly payments on your airfare where you make no interest payments. I think it's a firm or one of those companies they use, and you
Okay.
can make monthly payments on your airfare. But I'll tell you what I do, Bree, is every time I get paid, I take a little part of my paycheck and I have this one account where that little bit goes into that account, and I keep
Smart.
rolling it over because, like I said, travel is my life. I live
Yes.
to
No, that's
travel.
smart. That's
So
smart.
and all my change and stuff that I drop into one of those little like those 5 gallon things, the water
Yeah.
container, and then ever so often I take it to the bank and it just be my spending money, and it adds up. They
Yeah.
really add up. Yeah, yeah.
Definitely. That's really a good idea. Do you have any advice for first time travelers?
So for first time travelers, I would say do your research. Make sure you do your research on wherever you're going. For any traveler, um, make a list of things that you first of all, I would say make a list, like your little bucket list. This is where I want to go, and this is, and always do your research on wherever you're going, the culture, the safety. Register with the Before you leave on a trip, always register with the US embassy. Let them know that you're out of the country. This is the country you're going to be in, just in case there is an emergency. They know that there is an American. If you're an American, they'll know that, or whatever country you own a passport to. That's how
Yes.
they know how many people are in that country that needs to be evacuated or something. um, Another thing I say, I'm going to tell you, global entry. You'll thank me
My
later.
mom has that. She
you'll,
she
you'll,
loves
you'll
it.
thank me later on that one. Yes. And if you can afford the priority pass, that's also a good one to have as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. How important is it? And I think this ties with what Andrew was asking earlier. How important is it to show respect to different customs and things that are foreign to us? I know that a lot of people as Christians, they are offended, like what you mentioned earlier when you went to Bali. And I
Hmm.
think we have to be open minded. It's not that you're going there to worship the way that they do, but I do think there should be some reverence and respect for how they have chosen to live their lives. So what's your opinion on that?
Like I said, it's all a matter of respect, and you have to be open minded, and just, like, I am a Christian, and there's always, you think about that, especially if you're deep into your religion. You're kind of like, oh, why do they have to do, that kind of thing? But you just have to respect the other person's culture. And I said, not having respect for somebody's religion or culture or whatever, you can end up in jail for that.
Yes.
Like, for example, you go to Dubai. Men are not that, and it's maybe not just there. Maybe some of the more the Muslim countries, they're not very respectful towards women. Or, like, they'll they'll open the door, go through it, and let the door go right on you. So I mean, what are you gonna? You're not. You can't be loud. You can't complain. So you just get the door yourself and keep moving, and know that this is just their way. I don't take it personally. I take nothing personal when it comes to stuff like that, because I know that's just their way. I go to Bali, and there's always the incense that's burning, and the little sacrifices or whatever they call them, and
Yes.
I will ask questions too, in a respectful way. I will ask a question. You're talking to somebody and you say, what's the significance of this? What does this mean? You go to the Muslim countries, and you go to the restroom, and they have the little spigots for you to wash with, and stuff. And you, at certain time of the day, you'll see them. You'll hear the bell ringing or whatever, and they'll be out there praying, and in the street, and you just have to respect that, that this is what they do. And so it's just something that's hence why I say, do your research before you go to another person's country. Look at their custom, look at their culture, look at what they observe, and just be respectful.
Now, when you ask questions about the different things that, the different experiences, do you find that there is an appreciation that you asked?
Yes, yes. I mean, there's always a time for certain things. You're not gonna, and it's your tone and the way you ask, and and I'll, you and like, you start talking with a person, and sometimes you go on these tours too, and the tour guides will explain it to you. But I
Okay,
always like talking to the natives, and for them
that's good.
to tell me, what's going on with what. Yeah.
Have you ever been anywhere where the dress code was restrictive?
Well, Dubai, it's a little restrictive, but like, say in the mall, for example, I see people in the mall wearing shorts, because that's in the tourist area. personally, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I like to have a little skin out, but when I went, I just didn't, because I'm trying to come home. I'm
Yes.
not trying to be, there for whatever reason. But if you go to, say, the mosque, for example, you gotta wear the hijab. You don't have to wear a hijab, but your head have to be covered, and your neckline can't be out, and stuff, and you have to wear the long sleeve, and something that covers you pretty much. Um, in Bali, for example, we went to it was like a sacred, like a little sacred area, and we had to wrap like the bottom half in like a sarang. So but this, like I say again, it's doing your research, knowing what not to do. I think Dubai is just one of those countries that's going to be probably one of the most restrictive ones, that
Okay.
you're not going to wear your little tank tops and stuff when you go to like the native markets and stuff. But in the tourist area, there's a lot of flexibility there. But I'm
Is
just not doing it.
No, and I definitely agree
Hmm.
with you on that. Is there any activity that you've done in any of these countries that you never thought in a million years that you would do?
Mm. I'm
Besides
trying to
coffee,
because
besides trying the coffee.
I kind of like the adventurous thing. But for me, in like when I went to Dubai, for example, one of the scary things for me, we were in they went sand. It's like driving in the desert, but our driver didn't really go that hard, because I think everybody in there was a little scared, because I know that thing can turn over. You can overturn or
Yes.
something. But there's really nothing that well, oh yes, 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 yes. There's one that I never thought I would ever do. So, um, I've been going to Canada for years, like years and years and years, and I have tons of family in Canada. And finally, this year, Doris's aunt and myself went to Toronto, and we did the CN Towers. And we walk, it was like on the 140 something at floor, whatever.
Oh my
And
gosh.
we did the glass bridge on the
Oh my goodness.
it took us a good while before we would even walk on the bridge. But we did the glass bridge. I never thought I would have done that. I never ever thought I would have done that. But it after the
Wow.
first walk over, it became easier. It's like I have some videos on Facebook. We were like terrified, because you're looking down and you're seeing everything like way down there. What if this glass pops or something?
That
But
would be the
yeah,
first thing go that would be the first thing going through my mind. What has been the most fun thing that you have done on one of your travels?
fun thing. I like that sandblading is it sandboarding? I like the sandboarding in Dubai. I love to zip line. We went to Costa Rica earlier this year, and I did, but I mean it wasn't my first time doing it. But I'm going to Dubai next year again, and I'm looking forward to that sandboarding. I think it's because I stayed on the board all the way down, and it was just I just amazed myself that I actually stayed on it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that again.
What would you say to someone that, because I know there's a lot of people that's like interested in holiday romances. What advice would you give to people with who have that in mind?
Again, I'm gonna say, you mean like couples going away?
No, I'm talking about someone that's going out. They may meet someone in one of the countries that they go to visit. You
Well,
know,
I just say good.
you watch
I
these
say I
shows like
say good
90
luck.
Days Fiance, you know. Personally, I think you have to be very careful. But
I
what's your take on that?
I listen. Especially when you're going to, most people from another country wants that romance with somebody from America, because guess what? America is the golden, the streets
Right?
are that there is gold on those streets, and there is like money just growing on trees. I I mean, there are people who it have worked for, so I would never discourage a person from say doing that. I would say be careful.
Be careful.
But you know what I usually say, Bree? The heart wants what the heart wants.
It's
And when
true.
the heart sees what the heart wants, you can't
It's
tell that
true.
heart nothing.
It's
You
true.
can listen when that infatuation, when you think that's love and that's what the heart is supposed to have, honey, you can't tell the people nothing. Because
It's
I see
true.
it happen. I see it even happening to people who are from, say, like, of course, most of my friends are Jamaicans because, of course,
Yes.
I'm very Jamaican. So, and I see people who are here that goes to Jamaica, and for me and you, it's like we see it. Even the blind can see that there's something
Yes.
fishy with this. It's not
Yes.
right, but you can't tell them nothing.
It's
But
true.
enjoy it while you can. Call me for your travel needs. I will book your trip. I will book everything. I will trip. I will book anything for you in that boat, but don't ask me if you don't want me to tell you what's going. If you don't want me to tell you the truth, don't ask me. Don't, because I'm
Right.
gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what I see. But you
Yes.
know, it's just it's sad sometimes. It
It
really
is.
is.
I mean,
It's sad
it is.
sometimes.
It is. There's so many documentaries I've seen on YouTube with
Mm-hmm.
these women. They're meeting these kids. Technically they're kids, but
Mm-hmm.
the seduction, they're taken in by it, and next thing you know, they're talking about their bank accounts being depleted and all these horror stories. So yeah,
And at the same time, you have, it's not just women going for men, it's sometimes men for women. They
true.
go to these countries and they portray themselves as this rich person with
Yes.
money. Then they bring these innocent people here. Sometimes they come for good intentions too. On the flip side, their
Yes.
intentions are good, and then they come here and that person have nothing, because guess what? While they were going, when they were planning these expensive trips, they weren't paying their bills or doing whatever. So now you
Exactly.
think you're coming to this really posh, great life, and you're coming to nothing, to possibly worse than what you had in your country.
Right, it's
So
true. It's true.
everybody got to be careful.
It's true. I had to throw that one in there. Now, how can you be contacted by viewers who may be interested in one of your group trips?
Okay, so of course I'm on Facebook. I'm on what's the other one? Instagram. There's Dreamz Destination Travel. There's my name, Jake and what is it? Jake and I, Johnesse. And then my phone number, 561-351-9473.
How many trips do you do a year?
Well, like I said, I'm new to the official part of it. But previously I probably, oh gosh, maybe 3 4 trips a year. But now that I'm, I do have officially 2 big trips planned for next year.
Where are
um
the destinations?
there's gonna be a Greece trip, and I have for February, I have a Dubai trip coming up for February. And there's one that I do, but that's my personal trip. I'm doing Curacao. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Now,
my girl's trip.
okay. Now, I've heard that Greece is very beautiful. What can you tell me about Greece?
Well, that's, and another thing for Greece that I want to do too is that fly dress. I see so many fly dress photo shoots, so I'm kind of doing my little research. I want to do the 3 cities, flying to Athens. Then there's like a ferry you take to the other, because they're islands. And I haven't ironed out the details for Greece yet. That one is still in the making. My Dubai trip is complete. It's the planning, all the activities are in, because that one is coming up. And then, but all I know is I'm doing one country, 3 cities. We'll fly into Athens and then fly back out to Athens and get to each island on a ferry. The activities have not been ironed in yet.
Please let the viewers know the time and effort that you put into planning these trips.
Oh my goodness! It's and then I have this. It needs to, the trip needs to be perfect. So I'm burning everybody's ears. If Doris is still on here, I'm like messaging her 100 times. I'm like, Doris, you like this or you like this? Because you want, even if she's not coming on my trip, I still, you still want to bounce something off somebody, because you spend your money to go somewhere. You want to have, as the best experience or close to the perfect experience as you possibly can. So it really is a lot of time, and especially when you're passionate about something, and and these trips are trips that I'm going on. So I
Yes.
want to, I want to have that perfect experience as well. So but it's a lot. It really takes a lot to plan it.
It
Hmm.
sounds like it would take a lot. Now, when you go on these trips, like you mentioned earlier, you're a nurse. Being a
Hmm.
nurse can be very stressful in this day and age. Do the trips, is it like a fantasy? Like for some people that escape from their everyday life. Is that how you see your trips? And is this how you would like your clients to envision the trip that they're going on? Like an escape of
It's,
sorts.
it's it's an escape, and for most people who know me, I have an adult daughter with a disability, and sometimes, like, when I tell you I love my baby, I love that girl. She's like the spoiled, well taken care of child. But when caregivers go home, I'm here, and sometimes I need to get away a little bit in order to give her the better version of myself. So
Yes.
for me, it is an escape, for sure. And for other people that are coming, because people have their different, you have work can be stressful, just family, friends can be stressful sometimes, just to go away and just live from day to day, not worry about cooking, cleaning, doing anything, or even
Yes.
going to work. So it is that fantasy, it really is. And then before you know it, it's time to come home and plan
Yeah,
another
it's
trip.
true, it's true. Now, would you is it safe to say that a trip can be like an investment in yourself, in your
It
sanity and
is. It
well-being?
is. Let me tell you, I wouldn't have been able to be the person that I am if I wasn't able to have an escape. And this is my escape. It contributes to my mental health, my well-being. I think every time I go on vacation, I add a year to my life.
No, you
It's
know what?
something. No, but
It's
seriously, it sounds.
it's such a wonderful experience. The very first cruise I went on, it was after my son died, and
Mm,
I was a little hesitant to go, but
mm-hmm,
I actually felt relaxed on that trip. I slept better than I had slept in a long time, and I actually felt a little guilty because I had a good time. But
mm,
it was one of the things that helped me to see that, of course, I'm always gonna think of my son, but it's like life goes on and I have to live my best life, and I
right.
think it was a gift to myself to take that vacation, to
Mm,
re-embrace life and just live my best life possible. So now I do look forward to taking vacations and the whole planning process. It's
mm-hmm,
it's all a
mm-hmm.
part of the fantasy for me.
Right. I like cruises too. Well, for me, like going on a cruise, the part of a cruise I like is that you get to see different, like a little part of different countries. Like,
All
I've
in
been on
one trip,
cruises
right?
where I go and then I say, you know what, I want to go to this country for a few days, because
Yes.
this island for a few days. And so, because when you go on a cruise, you're just seeing a little part of it, but then based on what your experience is, it's like, okay, I can go back here on a real trip. And I've and
Yes.
I've had a couple of those requests.
Yes.
When my one friend called me, she's like, I went to Aruba on my cruise, but I didn't get to see too much, and it seemed like it's a beautiful country. And it
Yes.
is. Yeah, Aruba is beautiful. It really is beautiful.
Yeah, I've never been there. It's one of the places I would definitely like to go to, but I would like to encourage the viewers, if you've not taken a vacation in a long time, start thinking about it. There are people out there like Janice who plans these trips. I love the idea of the group trips because
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
solo travel is fine, but I think sometimes doing it in a group is really nice.
And I just want to add this, Bree. Don't wait for retirement. Don't
True.
say, I'm gonna wait till retirement. I'll tell you. So this Dubai trip that I'm planning, I have a friend. I called her. I said, "Do you want to?" And she was like so excited. And then she's like, "How long is the flight?" And I told her, and she's like, "Janice, I'm sorry, I can't make it because I can't fly that long. She said
How
her,
long
her
is the flight? How long is it?
to Dubai is about 15 hours. But let me tell you, it's 15 hours. These planes, you don't feel like you're actually in the air. They feed you so much. They give you alcohol. They give you, and I'm talking about good food. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about little fun. Like you get like real food. You get three meals on the flight to Dubai, and she just couldn't do it because her feet wouldn't, her legs wouldn't allow her to.
Oh,
They were
wow.
just that bad. Because she's like, when I sit for that long, you get to move around a little bit, but it's a plane. You can't really,
Yes,
So it's like now that you're young, don't wait until retirement. Don't wait until
it's
that era
true.
matures, or where you can make withdrawal without penalty. Don't depend on that pension, that 401k. Do you
Do
know?
it now.
Just do it now,
It's
because
it's
you
it's the
never know.
truth.
You
It's
never
it's the
know.
truth. It's the
Hmm.
truth.
Hmm.
Donna is saying hi family, hi Bree and guests. And she says, yeah, the group trips are wonderful, especially with
With
like-minded
and
people.
that's, I tell you, Bree, that's one of the things that I've been good at, matching people. Like, matching people and putting them together. Because, you know a lot of people, most of my people they'll share a room, and there are some people who just don't want to share with anybody for
Yes.
whatever reason. But I'm good at matching, like people. And we don't have problems like that.
Do you
and
have a
and
lot
and
of repeat travelers with you on your trip?
it's from my first trip, the 17, 18 years ago. It's mostly those people that have been coming and keep going and going on the trips. Yes. And then they'll
Oh,
they'll
wow.
introduce new people, and yes.
That is really
Hmm.
wonderful. I've learned a lot from you tonight, and I'm really encouraged. My cousin Diane and I, we spoke recently about, one of these exotic trips. And I was
Hmm.
telling her I was hesitant because, like, the longest flight I've been on is a flight to London, which is 8 hours. And that in itself is really a long flight for me. But I really want to build up the nerve to go on one of these exotic trips because, like I said, it's been on my bucket list for
Hmm.
a long time. So I have to ask you, what are your closing thoughts? What would you like to say to those out there who are hesitant? They want to go on the trip, but they're a little hesitant.
Well, like I said, well, for those who are hesitant, and sometimes it's the fear of flying, try something within the US, like something
Yes.
local before you go on a big trip. For those who want to go on a cruise, try one of those intracoastal cruises that, like, they have them like out of Palm Beach, out of Fort Lauderdale, just one
Yes.
of those.
Good
Or
idea.
take one of those short cruises to the Bahamas or something. But and like I said, do your research wherever you're going. Do your research. There are people who go on trips by themselves, and they become very smart and savvy, and they know what they know how to be safe. I've even seen videos where people are like, like you have dreads or you have braids or something, and they're sewing in those ear tags or something in their hair. And just, whatever you do, just be safe, but broaden your horizon.
Yes.
Go discover the world and have fun doing it. And of
Yes.
course, if you need a travel consultant, you can call me. And my thing
And
is,
I
I
can
think
vouch for Johnny's. I'll never have anyone on this show that's doing anything like this that I don't know personally. So I have to put that out there. I know Johnny's. I actually know her. So she's the real deal.
thank you, Bree. Thank you, and thank you so much for having me.
I'd love to have you back. I want you to come back to
Oh,
share with us
definitely,
about your
definitely,
next trip.
anytime, anytime. And I know Joyce. I saw your message. I'll reach out to you. I think it was Joyce.
Yeah, that was Joyce. Trust
Yeah.
me, when she said she's interested, she loves to travel. She just came back. She just celebrated her 60th birthday in Jamaica. So
Yeah.
trust me, yeah, she
Wow.
loves to travel like that. Yeah, so I am not surprised. But this was so much fun. This was my first podcast on travel. So I definitely want to do it again. And like I said, you have me thinking because yeah, I love cruises, but I want to broaden my horizons and I do want to try something different.
Thank you, Bree. I thank you so much for having me. I
Oh, you're
appreciate it.
welcome. You're welcome. And like
You
I
made
said,
it.
if you haven't seen any of Janice's her pictures from her trips, I'm telling you, they are something to look at. She's glamorous in all her pictures, and I'm telling you, looking at your pictures. Your trips always look like a lot of fun.
They're fun. What you see is what it is. It's they're always fun. A lot of fun.
Yes. So for those of you who are thinking, feel free to reach out to Johnny's. And hey, I'm hoping that you'll be reaching out to let me know about the trip you went on. I'm excited. And, I think we all should take that time for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm telling you, once you start, man, you just get hooked.
Yeah, you don't want to
Just get
stop.
ready,
That's
be
for sure.
prepared to be hooked, and be prepared for that journey.
That's thank you so much, Janice. When I reached out to you, I remember thinking, I hope that she'll do it. I hope that she'll do it. And you were like, yeah. So thank you so much.
And
This was a treat. This was definitely a treat.
okay, and again, thanks for the invite.
Oh, you're welcome. And like I said, feel free to come back after your next trip. We want to hear about it.
Okay, all
Take
right,
care.
definitely. All right, Bree. Everyone
Take
have
care,
a good
everyone.
night.
I'm wishing everyone a